Welcome back! So far, you've learned some great strategies for adapting the UI and other visual elements to create responsive, high-fidelity web pages. Before you test your designs, you need to make sure that the website is accessible. In this video, we'll discuss some of the ways that UX designers can design web pages with accessibility in mind. The great news is that there are standards you can refer to called the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG. The WCAG documents explain how to make web content more accessible to people with disabilities. Most of the standards are focused on how to incorporate text, sounds, and images in a way that supports more users. So let's explore 3 ways to make your web designs more accessible based on WCAG standards. The first way is to make annotations. Annotations are markers placed next to interactive UI elements, like the call to action buttons on the page. Here's a screen of the Dog Walker app that was designed earlier in the certificate program. The screen now has annotations. The numbers in the green circles indicate to an engineer the linear focus order or traversal order that assistive technology, like a screen reader, moves through the form. Traversal order is the navigation flow for a user on an app or a website. The annotations also set the order in which a user would tab through the items on a website if they use a keyboard instead of a touchscreen or a mouse. A second way to make your web designs more accessible is with hierarchical headings. Earlier in the program, you learned about hierarchy, a visual design principle that orders elements on a page and highlights them by their importance. Headings are a great example of how hierarchy can help users navigate a web page by selecting from the screen reader menu options more easily. Headings are an effective way to scale the size of the text based on its importance on the page. Having specific heading tags allows screen readers to understand the hierarchy of the page. Different sized headings can be annotated with H1, H2, H3, and so on to further indicate the hierarchy. These annotations will support the engineer's implementation of headings in HTML. The third way to make your web designs more accessible is by using labels. Labels add descriptive language to the interactive UI elements on the web page. You should use labels to indicate the purpose of the control and any type or role of the control. For example, a floating action button in Gmail is labeled Compose, and the type of the control is a button. When annotating labels for interactive elements on your web page, you should note where similar controls should be grouped to provide more efficiency and context to the screen reader. For example, consider grouping a list of checkboxes so that a user of assistive technology could understand the relationship of the checkboxes and how to quickly navigate to and from them. It's important to include detailed annotations for the engineers who will be working on the implementation of the project once your designs are finalized. In this image, you'll notice that I included annotations for the engineers to provide the labels that the screen reader should read aloud for each button. Successfully applying labels is necessary to create inclusive web pages. That's all for now. Making the most of annotations, hierarchical headings, and labels in your designs can help make your web content more accessible for people with disabilities. Try applying these learnings to your own designs.